Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany, and I'm the Director of Marketing at Việt Challenge. And today I'm so happy and honored to be here at another webinar hosted by VNPN, Vietnamese Professional Networks in the US. And today we're going to discuss about a very interesting topic, which is the career path of STEM students in the US. Today, I'm so happy we have two speakers from P&G Vietnam joining us, Ms. Jenny, who is Senior Human Resources Manager, and Mr. Curtis Chan, who is the Process Engineer Manager at P&G Vietnam. For the webinar today, we'll have 45 minutes for our speakers to talk about their career experience at P&G, as well as job opportunities offering at P&G Vietnam. And then after that, we'll have 15 minutes for Q&A so that all the audience, all the viewers, you can ask questions in the comment section below, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So hi, Jenny. Hi, Curtis. How are you doing today?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Yes, so the first question would be, can you introduce yourself? Can you briefly tell us about your career path? Why did you choose to work for P&G? And how did you get to where you are today at P&G?
Well, I'll start first. I've joined P&G 8 years ago. I'm Indonesian, so I'm from Indonesia. That's why I'm speaking English. So I'm so sorry that I can't speak Vietnamese, though I look like one. I joined P&G 8 years ago from P&G Indonesia. I graduated fresh from the college. I joined P&G sales for 2 years, and then I changed my career path into P&G HR since then. I came to Vietnam 2 years ago. I'm responsible for the supply chain organizations for the country. It's about 700 people under my organizations. So I will pass through my new recruits here, our new process engineering manager. I will ask him to share your history.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Curtis Tran. I started in P&G less than a year ago. Probably I just passed my 6-month training period. So I was, I graduated from chemistry major in the US back in 2014, had a short career there for like 2 years. And then I decided to come back to Vietnam to push out break for some marketing positions. But eventually I still want to pursue my technical career. So I joined P&G as a process engineering manager. I'm in charge of the fabric and home care making process. We do have a lot of initiatives, lots of business coming in. So my days at P&G has been very busy so far. But I'm glad I'm still here.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing information about yourself as well as your career. So the next question I would like to ask about the job market in the supply chain industry in Vietnam. What are some of the opportunities that P&G is offering for students, for STEM students, especially for those who's working and studying in the US? What kind of positions that are available at P&G Vietnam right now?
Right. Well, Vietnam for P&G has the largest manufacturing site in Southeast Asia. So our organization has 700 people working for us, and it's actually still expanding. That's why we are being very deliberate in attracting Vietnamese talent, because at P&G, we have a built from within culture. So we groom leaders from within. Where we are having right now is we have management positions, which we will share later. And this management position is where we would expect the candidate to join us with having some sort of technical knowledge, because we are a supply chain and manufacturing sites here, and also the leadership skills. That's why we believe that those who actually study in the US will be the right talent to join us and have career with us. Yeah. Any add from your side?
No, I don't think.
Okay.
Input.
Yes, Steve. Any questions from your side?
So thank you for sharing that. It's great to know that there are many opportunities available at P&G Vietnam that are waiting for Vietnamese students studying in the US to go back and take the challenge. Also, I just have a small question. This comes from myself. So I have seen a lot of engineers in the US, but when I went back to Vietnam, I haven't seen many engineers. So is it true that engineers is not as popular in Vietnam in the US? And what are some of opportunities for engineers in Vietnam and at P&G? What's some advantage that an engineer can get when they work for P&G? Can you please share?
I would probably say that there are a lot of engineers in Vietnam, but I think it's the more common perception would be engineers in Vietnam that are not up to par in terms of technical knowledge, technical ability, as well as management ability, like engineers in the US. That was my perception for a while too. That's why I was kind of hesitant about being an engineer in Vietnam. However, after spending 6 months in the US and exposing to Vietnamese engineering talent, I was very shocked and surprised at how good the engineers in Vietnam are. At P&G, we use all of the machinery and automation imported from the US or from Europe or Japan, and the Vietnamese engineer was very quickly grabs on the technology and manage all the troubleshooting as well as customize it to fit our need and with a lower budget, because that's the big advantage for P&G in Vietnam. So I was very surprised at the level of expertise of engineers in Vietnam. So yeah.
So thank you, and I'll add on Curtis' answer. I think it's the matter of exposures. The fact that it's less exposed doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And with the Vietnam economy grow year on year, and all the investment, foreign investment in Vietnam, we also do the same for P&G. But what we actually need in terms of engineering for positions that we're hiring are the management positions. So it's a right combination of technical mastery, knowledge, and also leadership skills, where that's where we believe that those who are on the students study overseas will be the right fit for us, while we also partner with the local university to source talents. Surprisingly, this year we have 50-50 US graduate or Australia graduate as well as local graduate new hire managers that join us, meaning that from the demand standpoint, we do have that demand. And from the attraction standpoint, both local and overseas still feel that our career opportunities are very, very attractive.
Thank you for sharing that. So can you please describe what a day of an engineer at P&G would look like? If you can you share with us about the company's culture, about the work environment, especially for Curtis, since you said you studied in the States before. Do you have any challenges going back to Vietnam, working in Vietnam, and as an engineer, or maybe as not an engineer, but like what's your favorite thing about P&G? Like why did you like to work for P&G?
So let me start first by describing a typical day for me. Every morning I started my day quite early just because I live in the city, but the workplace is in Viên, which is like about 45-minute bus ride to the plant. So because we work in, most of the on the floor people, operator will be working in shift. So the transitioning between the different shifts is very important, as well as setting what we need to do for the next day. So that's what we call it daily direction setting meetings. So those are very important just to ensure the communication between shift, between each line and between each department flows smoothly. So we can troubleshoot the problem on time and adequately. So, the first morning is usually be about transitioning between shift, between line, department, and then the whole supply chain. We have to work with the planning department in Singapore to schedule our production plan accordingly to the status of our equipment. And then in the afternoon, that will probably be more centered about projects that we have coming into Viên plant. We have a lot of initiatives. We have a lot of cost-saving initiatives as well as new businesses coming in almost every month. So right now, I'm basically have a lot of project on hand. I'm just a little overwhelmed, but it's a good kind of overwhelming. So yeah, it's very exciting. So the 8-hour working days seems really short, but it's full of exciting events. And the working culture at first, when I was in the US and considering moving back to Vietnam, I was a little hesitant just because I haven't worked in Vietnam before. I went to the US when I was in high school. So I didn't really know what was waiting for me back in Vietnam. But then, I landed a job in a startup, so that's kind of like an easier transition. However, when I go to P&G, my first thought was just like, oh, it's just another traditional Vietnamese company manufacturing environment. However, I was very surprised at the level of standard in terms of safety and quality at P&G. In the US, I used to work for BASF, which is one of the largest chemical manufacturing in the US. And I would say that the standards at P&G are even at the par of BASF or even higher than what I experienced at my previous position. And I like the fact that P&G Vietnam put safety first, which means, safety trump everything else. Safety and quality of our product trump everything else. So, for example, if I'm not really sure how to perform certain tasks, or if anybody not sure how to perform certain tasks and they don't know what the safety risks are involved, they can just, take a step back and say, no, I need to know the safety procedure for this first. So I think that's quite impressive. Just because, back in the day, I've always thought that working in a chemical industry in Vietnam is just like, oh, wow, that can carry a lot of risk. However, P&G has put in a lot of processes, a lot of procedure just to make sure those risks are well documented and then minimized or controlled. And in terms of colleagues, the people I work with are super professional. Work in we do have we do have a straight talk environment in our workplace. So every concern, every feedback are communicated directly and straight up to whoever are being directed at. So yes, it feels very much like an American work environment, and the company culture is very healthy, I would say. Jenny, do you have any?
Well, yes, thank you for sharing the holistic story of P&G. I think I just want to add one thing. At P&G, we are a merit-based company, performance-based company. So we are not seniority-based or tenure-based. So if we really know what we are talking about, or we are very knowledgeable on things that we are really doing, all the senior leaders will listen to us. And that makes us being listened and being heard since day one. And no matter how young you look or how young you actually are, you are as competent as those who actually been working for 10 or 15 years, as long as you know what you are doing. I think that is very empowering. And that's what actually made me stay for 8 years, at least until now.
Yeah, I just want to echo on that point is that, first of all, when I come in, I've been working alongside people with 15, 20 years of experience. So I was kind of feeling intimidated at first, but after being there for 6 months, after being exposed to the P&G working style, I'm empowered to make a lot of, to lead a lot of important projects. So, P&G was the company that teach me that experience is important too, but you back every of your decision up with data and with good analysis. So as long as you have good data, good analysis, they will empower you to make your own decisions, to make a difference, and not just by seniority.
Thank you for sharing that. As we heard from Jenny and Curtis, P&G not only offers the employees a very interesting, very exciting environment to work at, but also very professional, with very professional and supportive college. So I believe that every year there's many candidates apply to different positions at P&G for such a great company like that. So what does P&G Vietnam look for in their candidates? And what would make a candidate stand out from others?
Thank you, Tiff. Well, what we are looking for is the same with what P&G globally looking for, because we basically have the same standard of recruiting processes. So for the management hiring, especially for supply chain, we hire for STEM students, and we expect the leadership skills from the students, right? What does that mean is that experience that they have at school, at projects, activities outside the school, that then help them to shape your leadership perspective. And sometimes actually candidates will help leadership perspective. It is just a matter of whether they are the right fit for the company or not based on the company values. As a company, P&G chose 5 values: the leadership, integrity, ownership, passion for winning. And that's where those who fit this criteria will be the one who will be the great fit for the company. And why P&G is being very selective? It is because that we don't offer only the job, but we actually offer the career. So our current management system, 90% of our senior leaders in the company are promoted from within. That's why we have more pressure, but it's also our strategic choice to keep that going. That's why the talents in is very important for us, because we always see them as the future leaders. Practically saying, the easy questions that I have in mind whenever I interview candidates are, in the future, will I want to report to the person? If the answer is yes, the immediate hiring decision is very clear. If the answer is no, sometimes I need to sleep over it before I make decisions. Because if I don't want to report for this person in the future, why should I hire the person now? Right? Then it's also give another context of culture, whereby whenever I recruit anyone, I know this person is good enough to lead me in the future. And I have responsibility to make sure that that happen in the future. I think this is the culture whereby I still find very empowering and very rare in the market, and also arguably globally.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. So what is the hiring process look like? How many interviews, or like what are some of the stages that a candidate have to go through before they can land a job at P&G?
Right, thank you for checking on that. The process are simple. The first one is we create an account on our P&G website. So all our recruitment processes are through online to make sure we assess the candidate objectively. So we create an account on the P&G career page. The second, then you click on the requisitions or the vacancies that you guys are interested in. And after that, you will go through the online application process and screening. You will go through 2 online assessment. The first one is behavioral assessment to assess the candidate fit to P&G in terms of value or leadership perspective. The second one is basically what we call reasoning. It's more on the IQ test, where now it takes 30 minutes in average, and then it's highly interactive. So it's just like you are playing game. Once you pass both, you will meet 3 interviewers. It could be virtual for those who are in overseas. It could be face-to-face if you guys have opportunity to come back to Vietnam, and we can accommodate that. And after passing 3 interviewers process, then you will proceed with the medical checkup to ensure that you are fit for work. And voila, then we will have an offer session.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. So these questions may be for both Jenny and Curtis. Jenny, because you've been interviewing a lot of candidates, right? So what is the most common mistake that candidates often make during the interview process? Do you have any advice for them, any suggestions so that they can have better interviewing sessions? Also for Curtis, since you had to go through the application process too, if you have an experience, any advice, or maybe a story of your interview session, how did it look like? Maybe you could share with our audience too.
I'll start. I think after a lot of years having experience of interviewing, consistency in answer is very important. As in consistent in the details as well. As in, if you give any examples and you say that you were successful in that event or that project, it is really important for the candidates to share what did the candidate do and what did the candidate have in mind before the candidate started the projects. Probably our education system has been encouraging us to share the results or the why, but actually the why is very important. Why you do certain projects, why is actually important, and then okay, what was the result? How the result actually against the first objective when you started the project? The articulation and the structure in terms of answering is important. So the candidate can have a good impression with the interviewer. I think that is very important. I'll pass it to Curtis for him to share his own experience.
I think I have to agree very much with Jenny on that. I think she's put it really well. In my experience, people were looking for a clear thought process of why you start any project or anything. So they would be asking you a lot about your experience, but the deep down inside, they want to know your thought process of, do you understand why you're assigned that project or why you're put on that project? How you achieve, how you go about that, executing that project and what are the results. But the focus is very much on the importance of why. You need to know the background of the project, that kind of things. So yeah, they was looking for like a candidate with holistic thought process of the whole process of have an overview background of what you're doing instead of just following what you've been assigned to do. I think that's very important during the interview process.
Okay, so for an engineer, what skill sets and that an engineer would need when working for P&G? Some people, there's a term saying that engineers cannot lead. What do you think about this? Do you think there's a lot of leadership potential, leadership opportunities for engineers at P&G? Do you think that engineers can have a chance to prove their leadership skill in P&G? And how does P&G help their employees to gain leadership skills?
I'll answer from two perspectives. The first perspective is people sometimes feel that engineers don't really have leadership career pathing in the market, which is completely wrong. When we move from one
Hello?
means is about opportunity to grow. I think this is the first perception that we need to clarify and we need to correct. The second one is if the engineer or engineering students feel they're not good enough to lead, eventually they're already very good enough. And they just need to go through certain trainings or certain experiences to make sure that they know how to articulate their thinking. They know how to talk, they know how to present, and they know how to have powerful, impactful communication in meeting, which these are the skills that we can build at P&G, because we don't have other choice than building talent at P&G. We don't really hire from the market. So those are the two things that I would like to address with the questions of Tiffany. Then I will pass to Curtis to add more from his experience.
So from some of what I've learned so far, I think, the very first important of all is the technical skills. However, I think P&G is looking for people with a data-driven mindset. I think that's basically drilled into the core of our thinking of everybody's who's working here. Have to be very data-driven, very strong reasoning skills. You have to, how to back up every decision, every thought with data. If without data, a person with 1 year of experience is just as equally good as somebody with 15 years experience. With experience without any data. So data is probably one of the most important part of being an engineer at P&G. The second most important one probably be the ability to influence people or to engage with people, because a lot of time when I think about before joining P&G, I thought, oh, engineer, you just need to be good at technical skill. However, the position the position I'm being at is an engineer manager. So a lot of the projects at P&G, you cannot work by yourself. You have to involve people from different functions, different departments, on the floor, worker, operator, as well as support team. So it's very multifunctional. That was what I would say. So the ability to engage with people, to get the input, and to encourage them or to engage with them to join on your project is very important. And also, I think, as Jenny has pointed out, is the ability to look at the project or look at your work from a kind of like a bird view perspective. You need to know why you're doing this project, how it's contribute to the company overall, and how it contribute to your goal or to your career goal in particular. And also, you have to have a bird's eye view of how to achieve that project in very specific timeline and what are the expected results even before you start the project. So those three are, I think, what apply the most to me at the moment. But there will maybe more in the future if I continue working on longer.
Thank you for sharing your experience and your opinions about being an engineer at P&G. Now, I think it's time to move on the Q&A session, as I received a lot of questions from our viewer. So the first question is, as there are many women working in STEM now, do you think that what advantage they have and what disadvantage they have? And do you have any tips or advice for women or girls who want to be an engineer, who want to work for STEM fields in the future?
Well, let me take that question. I think as a company and as a consumer goods company, we need to hire diverse talents. It's not only from gender perspective, but also ethnic background, religion, diverse attributes, personal attributes, right? Now, in specific on female engineering student or our female managers, I think they're as capable as any other, male managers. And sometimes having female in the leadership team or in a management position, it could bring different perspective, different value. The way we engage organization is very different. So I wouldn't really differentiate from the capability standpoint, but as organization, we also understand and acknowledge that there is certain life stage that women will go through. And there is certain societal expectations towards women that women will need to go through if they choose to accept that. Then as a company, we are very deliberate in encouraging that to be fulfilled, right? At the end of the day, career is part of life, not the life itself. And we are being very deliberate in our career planning, in our assignment planning, proactively to make sure that though women go through that certain life stage, they don't get disadvantage. In fact, they get empowerment to go through that certain life stage without compromising their career if they choose to do so. But if they choose not to do so, we will be overall very encouraging, because we acknowledge the right to choose is very important. So having career conversation early, having mentor that can help women go through this process, and helping support system of other senior leaders, female leaders that have gone through that process to coach our female manager, is something that we have thought through, and we have put in place to make sure our female manager can continue to perform and continue to strive in their career. I'm not sure if that answers the question, but I would like to summarize that into, I don't really see the disadvantage in career pathing in capability, because we have put in place the process, support system to make sure we adapt to these personal needs of the employee.
Yeah, I just add into to that. So currently at my current workplace, when I first came in, with the expectation I got from before, just from working in the US, is that manufacturing might not be the very female dominated, or like it's mostly male dominated field. However, I was actually shocked at the numbers of women engineers, women leadership engineer in leadership team at the new plant. Sometime my first day, I was just like, Jesus, there's a lot of women here. They are some of the strongest, most talented women engineer, or just women, or just engineer, not just women engineer, sorry. Most talented engineers I've met so far. They're very tough. They're very tough, very good at technical skills or what they were doing. And they're very, very good people influencers. My direct manager right now is a woman. She's quite small, but her ability, her capability is just as big as anybody else in the team. So my team right now is a little more. We have a lot of men, but the direct manager is a woman, and she commands. She has very strong command of a team with the morality, with the team engagement. So I'm very, very much look up to her to learn more about how she can manage to do that. And I believe that I think 50% of the leadership teams are women, and they started from the very beginning as operator, and then we promote from within. So after spending 5 to 9 years, I think, at P&G, now they're all in very leadership positions, and very, very capable women, very strong, very balancing work and life, family really well. And I have to. I have a lot of things to learn from my direct manager. So I'm very surprised about that.
Thank you. As you guys can see, gender is totally not a barrier for you guys to apply to different positions at P&G at all. So if you want to work with P&G, don't be afraid, don't be scared just because of your gender, but be more confident and apply today. So the next question is the most asked question on YouTube. I guess we have a lot of students watching the webinar today. They're asking, do you have any internships opportunities for the summer? And then is it too late to apply? And when you're looking for intern, what is some of requirements, some expectation you have for the candidate?
Well, thank you, Tiff. That is the questions that we are waiting the most, actually. Yes, we do have internship program for this summer. We eventually opened this and create this program for overseas educated students because we know that there are needs actually coming from overseas to also experience our environment and our project, contribute back and make an impact. So we do have that. As we have shared, we will have a dream internship program in Vietnam. We will fine tune the day when we have a further details from the applicants. We want to make sure that we tailor fit our opportunity with the timing or window that students in the US has. So net, yes, we do have that. And what are the criteria that we are looking for from the interns? Is actually the same with our the criteria that we are looking from our managers, because interns are the source of our talent pool when we pursue the permanent recruitment for managers. So what intern will go through in terms of selection process are the same with our management recruiting process. It could be different, just the number of interviewers that they would meet. But net, they will go through the same process, same expectations, same quality of expectation and bar. And as such, when they join P&G, they will be treated as a manager as well, because they have demonstrated certain quality that we believe that they can do a good job when they are joining P&G. So they will be given projects and responsibility that they can deliver in a 2 or 3 months time, depending on the window of the student, and make the project very, very meaningful and impactful.
I see. Thank you for your answer. And then a person asks, is there any rotational programs at P&G? Can I work at different locations of P&G around the world? And how often do an engineer travel?
I will leave how often do an engineer travel to credits from what he has seen so far in his 6-month experience with us. We do have rotations or location change or international assignment, or we have a short business trip, vary from 3 to 6 months. Of course we do, because we are all of the P&G subsidiaries are connected, right? However, of course, we also have a process to select those who will we prioritize out of all of our people to go overseas. We want to make sure when they go overseas, they rightly represent our talent quality. They are the right person to be sent out from P&G Vietnam standpoint, and also for the person. We want to make sure the person is ready, having the right skill for them to compete or to contribute back into an international community. And this principle doesn't only apply for Vietnam, this principle apply across P&G globally. And how often people travel, I don't have certain right answer. It really depends on the role that you are performing. So one engineer could travel more than the others, and that is really regardless of their level. So I have a technical leader that travel every 2 weeks. And yesterday I was just joking with him that, why are you here today? I thought you were traveling again. So he smiled and I said, yeah, I'm going to UK tomorrow. I was like, okay, another travel. So I don't travel as much as him, though I have a higher position in the company. So I'm not sure if I can answer that in a nutshell, but I was trying to give a broader perspective on the travel needs are even driven by the talent development needs to groom certain talent, or is really driven by the business needs to perform certain work.
I think, from my 6-month experience, I have not been able to travel abroad yet, but I am scheduled. I just signed up for a process engineering school in China in May, so that would be an opportunity for me to travel. I think Jenny just kind of summarized her experience. She's been here longer than I am. However, I would say my work involved heavily with international colleagues, especially in production planning in Singapore, or our consumer, or the site in Japan. So we very close, tight-knit community where we get support from R&D in Europe, and then all of the different P&G sites. I think my previous direct manager just got assigned to the Philippines, so that's very exciting, something to look forward to in the future.
Thank you. And I guess the next question is for Curtis. Do you work with people from different teams, or do you mostly work with people from the engineer team?
I would say I work with all of the departments at P&G, just because every project needs input or insight from different departments. Let's say quality assurance, quality control, operation, which is the department that I'm in, the engineering team, as well as cost planning, finance, to HR, to manage the people. So all of my project would probably involve like 3/4 to at least a half or 3/4 of all of the department at the current P&G plant. Sometimes it's a little challenge to get that much involvement, but you have a lot of people. You do work with different expertise, basically a lot of expertise, a lot of different experience. Looking from you, it's very interesting to work in a project with different perspective from all sides, all departments. So they give you insight. Sometimes it can be some challenges. Sometimes it can make your project flow a lot smoother with that much input.
So when you work with a lot of team like that, they will be entry-level people working for the company. So does P&G offer any mentorship opportunities? So just so people who just work for the company can learn and accelerate their career?
I was assisted or mentored very well by my direct managers when I came in. He doesn't hold my hand and walk me through everything, but he set me very clear goals, clear timeline, milestone for me, and then he set out the resources for me to seek the technical knowledge, the people management knowledge, and how to manage my own project on time with a clear overview in mind. In terms of technical, I'm not very, when I first came in, I wasn't very well versed with the technology at P&G. So, I follow basically a technical buddy to learn about the machinery, working shift, just to understand how a day of a operator is like. So I know what the workload is like. And then I can just go up to any person at P&G. They're very welcome to answering any questions, direct me to the correct resource, to the correct owner of that particular process. And P&G, the SOP, the standard operating procedures, are very well established, updated and revised regularly. So if I don't know any process, or if people cannot give me the most accurate direction, there's always SOP for me to read. And then if I'm not clear about anything, I can just go directly to a managers who manage that SOP, or with whoever the owner of that SOP or the expert of that SOP, and ask any questions. They're very easy to set one-on-one session just to explain to me about certain things that I don't understand. So that the level of mentorship is really good at P&G. I got mentored a lot by the HR managers about managing people, managing projects, as well as my direct manager, or even his manager too. So I got a lot of support.
So a lot of support and mentorships when you work for P&G. So a few people wondering, since you work at the Bình Dương area. So they're wondering if P&G offer any like travel reimbursement or like housing for interns or like for people who just start working at P&G, because Bình Dương is not too close to Ho Chi Minh City.
I mean, for me, I still live in Ho Chi Minh City. I live in District 4. So well, every morning they have shuttle bus back and forth from Bình Dương to Ho Chi Minh City. It's not very much, it's not that far of a drive. I think during rush hour, I think a lot of you know, Ho Chi Minh City rush hours can be quite insane. But it's about 45 minutes to an hour during rush hour drive. So it's not too bad. And, you know, I can sleep on a bus. So that's nice. I mean, one of the downside, maybe not really a downside, but for me, I'm a kind of a morning person. So the schedule fit perfectly. So I start my day at the bus stop at 6 in the morning. But on the other hand, I can end my day quite early at exactly 4 and then go back. By the time I'm back to the city is 5 o'clock. So just, it's perfect working day for me. But yeah, I don't know if Jenny has any more input.
All right. We have 2 manufacturing facilities here in P&G Vietnam. We have one is really focusing on our downy productions and also home care that we export to Japan. The second one is we focus on our manufacturing for Gillette, which is another plant 45 minutes away. Both plants, we do provide shuttle bus to ensure that our people are well taken care of when they travel to the plant back and forth every day. And yes, we also provide the intern salary, what we call, because we do suppose that they are doing a meaningful project, making a good impact, and we would like to make sure we reward them accordingly. Right, and at the plant we have lunch meal support, so they just come. We have a very professional canteen service for all of our employees to make sure that if people are working for us, we also take care of them properly and accordingly. And those are the things that we do for our people and for our intern, because they're also part of our P&G family. I think that overall summarizes what Curtis said very well.
I think since I started working at P&G, I gained quite a bit of weight just from the good food they have there.
So you can see that traveling is totally not a hassle at all when you work P&G, even in Bình Dương. And if you want, I think Curtis provide very good strategy to wake up early in the morning and go home before the rush hour so that you don't have to deal with the traffic. That is very good strategy for people who want to work for P&G in Bình Dương. Also, the next question is, what is the typical career progression for someone in the business analyst position at P&G?
I think for all of the P&G positions, as long as a manager, the career progressions is almost the same, because we want to make sure the quality of talents that we develop across functions are the same, right? Otherwise, we will have some disconnection. For business analysts, when you join us, you have what we call as band 1 manager. That's entry level for everyone, and apparently you will get some sort of business exposure to understand the market and understand the business leader that you are serving. From there, if you progress well and you can deliver results, then you get promoted to what we call band 2, where it's where you are more expected to now proactively anticipate the risk and come up with a proposal. While at band 1 level, you are more expected to deliver the results with excellence, with more coaching. At band 2 level, you will be given more authority to do what you think is right for your business, because you have some sort of experience. Now, in some positions as well, you are expected to coach other people, because you're now expected to demonstrate the delivering through others' ability. And if you're able to do so, you will get promoted to band 3, where it is actually a mid management for the company. For a country like Vietnam, it could be a leadership team already, but overall at P&G, or in the region globally, it's mid management positions. And so on and so forth. I just want to give context that our global CEO is band 9, right? So band 2, band 3, band 4. Band 4 is already a regional leader, what we call associate director. So associate director, regional leader, we call it band 4. Director is already you own the region. So I just want to give this context, and this doesn't apply only for business analysts. This apply across functions, whether you are in sales, you are in HR, you are in supply chain, you are in brand or marketing. The quality of talent or R&D, research and development, the quality of talent that we are looking at for certain levels, certain promotion criteria are the same in terms of progressing.
Thank you for sharing that. Looks like we have a few more questions about internship at P&G. So one person asked, what kind of bonding activities that are available for interns? As an intern, do I have a chance to actively interact with the actual projects at the company? Because I really want to get to know everyone and people in the team, I want to know what P&G offer for the interns to get used to the environment. And is it possible to get a full-time position after the internship?
Yes, definitely. So let me answer the last one first. Yes, definitely. Intern is where we would like to mainly source our long-term employee. Mainly because the person will get some sort of exposure to what we are doing. So as they are joining us for long term for their career, it will be easier for them to then transition to the organizations. There will be less culture shock. There's a smoother transition personally as well. Then the question whether for the interns, will they be able to get meaningful project or will they be able to interact with people? The answer is definitely yes. Why? Because for the internship program, the number of internship needs will be based on the projects that we have aligned in the leadership positions. So in the leadership team, if we think that, oh, we will have this amount of project this year, these are the number that interns that we will only recruit. So we cannot recruit more than that because then we won't be able to walk the talk in giving our promises of meaningful projects. And when the person runs through or the intern runs through the project, they're expected to deliver the project just like any other P&G people. So we will give the intern the same support, if not more, because they're very new, in order to perform their tasks. So yes, we do have the meaningful project. We do have a system to enable the intern to deliver meaningful project. At the same time, we have this informal support system whereby our new hires, the new recruit in the company who are very, very passionate, they always think that they're very young, then they always go out after work. So they will have dinner. They have their own group chat to make sure that everyone is feeling embraced and to really provide support system for those who are in need. Sometimes when you transition from student to professional environment, you have questions that you feel too stupid to ask. Actually, it's not, right? But you still feel not good in asking for more senior person than asking the new, the friends that just went through that process will be the probably the easiest way to do so. So I think from informal, formal standpoint, we do have that support system available currently for our supply chain organization.
Any bonding activities that P&G offer for the employees to enhance the company culture? Somebody asked the question.
Yeah. So we do have a quarterly, what we call capability day, where everyone actually come together, or we will have a quarterly town hall where everyone come together, and then you will be divided into groups and you will be given games. That's where you actually can blend from one department to other department. We also have the informal support system where I have shared, whereby it's actually supported by HR. So it's intentionally created for new hires or new recruits or interns to blend in the culture. We also have the review with the leadership team at the organization. So make sure that we create the right bonding within the team that you report to, or within the line organizations, and also for those who work with you together. Okay. We have Family Day. We do have the annual offsite for the people. I think that's where we can encourage that. But for intern, arguably, we will finish internship in 2 to 3 months, right? So depending, some interns may not join the Family Day because it was before that. May not join our annual offsite if the timing is not in line, but they definitely will get exposure to informal bonding that we have, or the formal bonding where we have a quarterly capability day or quarterly extended leadership meeting at our site.
Thank you so much for sharing. As you can see, P&G provide a lot of opportunities for the employees not to perform their work very well, but also like they provide mentorship opportunities as well as bonding activities, so you can really enjoy the P&G culture. I think that's it for the question today. Do Jenny and Curtis, do you have any other things you'd like to share to our audience today?
Well, I would like to reiterate again because I have received a lot of questions regarding internship, regarding positions at P&G. So let me flash again the opportunity that we have today. So these are the open positions that we have for internship as well as for our permanent long-term employment at P&G. Is there any questions? Please do reach out to us. We have our Facebook fan page, or we are working with VSA as well to make sure that we accommodate all the questions or all the concerns or fears that people have as they pursue or they choose to have career back in Vietnam. And that's overall it. I really want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Enjoy spring break. Have a good evening. And Tiffany, thank you so much for hosting us today. I'll pass through Curtis.
I just want to say that joining P&G was probably one of the most rewarding and most meaningful experience in my career so far. And the career path is very clear. I can envision my career path with P&G down the road for the next 5-10 years. So that's something that very important to me. Hopefully I can look forward to seeing some of you guys as new intern in the future.
As you can see on the presentation, there are the positions offering at P&G right now. If you have any questions, if you feel interested in any position posted on the board, please contact P&G today. And hopefully you'll learn a lot of lessons and experience advice today from Jenny and Curtis. I believe you guys have a very inspiring video of P&G employees that you would like to show to the audience today. So hopefully the video will help you guys understand more about P&G and what the life of P&G would be.
You may think the P&G company is all about marketing.
Truth is, we do create the world's best marketing for 350 brands across every region of the world.
However, we also manufacture the world's finest consumer products,
meeting critical specs and new technologies each and every hour of the day.
Automation engineering is a major component of the P&G global business.
So while you may perceive P&G as a marketing company,
actually, it's also a global leader in manufacturing technology,
with plants all over the world.
So really, I am P&G.
I am an automation engineer at P&G, and I am P&G.
I am P&G.
I was a little shocked as an electrical engineer what kind of work I would be doing on diapers, but I quickly learned there's a lot of roles for electrical engineers to make the control systems to run the diaper lines, and really work on those electrical parts of the line. My name is Casey Coates, automation engineer. I've been surprisingly shocked at how much responsibility I really got right off the bat. I've been here for almost 11 months now, and my manager put me in a project, and I was the owner of the project, and I made all the decisions, and I really enjoyed my level of responsibility right off the start.
P&G's given me the opportunity to focus on the areas that I've been interested in, and my first role really focused on software and technology from that standpoint, not so much on the hardware. My name is Bren Nealis, automation engineer. P&G manufactures and sells more than 350 brands in roughly 180 countries, so technology and manufacturing plants are a big part of this company. Here's one example of P&G technology. This particular process operates at speeds which require control decisions to be made and implemented in milliseconds. Procter & Gamble's automation engineers help design the systems that make these processes work. They are the brains behind the brawn. When P&G brands and businesses call for a new or improved manufacturing process, a team of engineers and contractors design and installs the system. Automation engineers design nearly every aspect of the control system, including development of the control strategies, selection of hardware, drives, sensors, and actuators, and development of the computer software.
My level of responsibility as a new hire at P&G, I would say, was unusually high compared to other internships that I had with other companies. My name is Adal Tekleb, automation engineer. To give you an example, my second assignment as an engineer, I was made the lead controls engineer on a machine that we designed and built from the ground up at P&G. And this machine now is going to be installed in several of our plants. Engineering challenge at P&G. Engineers are always looking for new ways to improve existing systems, and the company encourages their engineers to stay in touch with developing technologies and make certain they have a lot of different ways to learn and train on the latest technology.
In my opinion, the thing that was really sold to me was that you could drive where you wanted to go and be who you want to be. And within P&G, I found that to be true. It's amazing what they actually say, that you shouldn't say something because the odds are it's going to come true. And I found that to be the case. I've expressed interest in a various number of things, and that's what's happened in my career. And I've only been here 2 years.
Today, P&G is growing at an accelerated pace all over the world, touching lives and improving life in many ways, building breakthrough new manufacturing plants all over the world. The opportunities for automation engineers are really everywhere within P&G. I think that P&G really is a great company full of a lot of smart people who are trying to use their ideas and want to help you learn and help you figure it all out. A lot of people working together with different talents who can all come together and make these great products happen. I think my greatest technical challenge has been creating an electrical panel and speccing out what all needs to be in the panel. And in order to do that, I had to learn all the different systems, the processors, the drives, the I/O, all of the different electrical parts that go into making a panel, and then putting it on paper and saying, here's my design.
P&G's unique organizational structure offers the global scale benefits of an international company and the local focus to be relevant for consumers worldwide. Our corporate structure provides the framework that allows us to tap the benefits of a global organization with speed and efficiency. Automation engineering is a major component of P&G global business.
As an automation engineer, really the opportunities are limitless. In my assignment as a lead controls engineer on a machine that has been built and designed at P&G, which is going to be distributed globally, that gives me the opportunity to travel to these different sites all around the globe.
If I were to do it all over again, I would come back to P&G. And I would choose P&G because of the great opportunities. I love working with products that you see people interact with and really learning the technology that's put into creating those products. The greatest asset at P&G is its people.
The core values and principles of this great company have remained steadfast for generations, and the new people coming on board have very consistent values and principles.
So we really mean it when we say, I am P&G.
You have a wonderful opportunity to join one of the greatest global companies in the world and work with the best technologies on the planet. I encourage you to look further at P&G.
Hopefully one day you too can say,
I am P&G.
I am P&G.
I am an automation engineer, and I am P&G.
All right. Thank you so much, Jenny and Curtis, for joining us today. Thank you for sharing with us your experience and valuable advice about career path and career opportunities offering at P&G. Thank you, everyone, for watching the webinar today. Don't forget to subscribe to P&G and follow P&G website to get updated about more career opportunities offering at P&G, and follow our page VNPN to get update about future events. And also in the future, maybe in April, P&G, VNPN, and the Vietnamese Student Association in Boston gonna have more offline and online events. So don't forget to follow us and get updated. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a great day for you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.